I'm Ben.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at sori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
They do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch, shout out to Tim, who is currently on vacation.
Yes, sirree. Bobber.
I totally understood. When I read your message, I said, I understand. I am like you. Let's just load up and do this song.
Yeah, this is hey Tim, my bad, bro, for God getting this earlier. Sorry was actually it created a conflict.
It did.
Yeah.
So we had a fight.
That's how dedicated Sori is to you, Tim, for some strange freaking reason.
Oh, he's on vacation with his wife. No need to worry, babe. I'm committed to you, and he's committed to his. All right. Frei.Wild, Zusammen and Verient.
Zusammen und Verient.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Together and united, I guess.
Oh, okay. Together and united is what it translates to. This is for the big homie, Tim from San Diego. Dear listener, if you would like to be featured, the process is very simple. You already saw it on the commercial, or you can join Patreon. Having said that, you beautiful people, without further ado,
let us begin.
Let's do it.
Ich hab mein Schicksal nicht allein, ich bis zum Ende gewählt. Vieles kommt erst mit der Zeit, wie mancher Freund, wie mancher Weg. Und keine Frage, auch ich hab manches Mal gezittert und gefleht. Jedes von euch gefällte Urteil hab ich auch bisher überlebt. Ich kenne Vorurteile und ja, ich kenn die blanke Angst in mir. Ich bete zum lieben Gott, glaubt was ihr wollt, von mir aus kreuzigt mich dafür. Der schiefe Segen in diesem Land hat mich verletzt, hat mich gebrannt. Unser Schicksal, unser Weg, dafür haben wir gelebt. Zusammen, vereint, dafür gekämpft, dafür gelebt. Gelacht, geweint, auf dass sich unser Sturm erhebt. Durch alle Lärm, durch alle Straßen, vom Hülsenberg in dunklen Gassen, auf dass die Welt gerechter wird. Die Wahrheit siegt und die Lüge stirbt. getrennt im Sturm vereint, mal unter Rost und mal im Glanz. Nicht ganz so Druck, aber mit Rückgrat und mit gesunder Arroganz. So blieben wir auf diesem Pfad, volle Kraft voraus, es war stiller Fahrt. Das Feuer leuchtet uns den Weg, dafür haben wir gelebt. Seht ihr den Mittelfinger, seht ihr unsere offene Hand. Wer begehrt kriegt, wer nicht, der hat schon. Hier nützt kein Widerstand. Oh, oh, oh. Rivale oder Freund oder beides irgendwann. Komm rein in unsere goldene Mitte. Komm rein in das gelobte Land. Zusammen vereint, dafür gekämpft, dafür gelebt, gelacht, geweint, auf dass sich unser Sturm erhebt. Durch alle Lärm, durch alle Straßen, vom Hülsenberg in dunkle Gassen, auf dass die Welt gerechter wird, die Wahrheit siegt und die Lüge stirbt. Wer du bist, woher du kommst, interessiert uns nicht. Herzlich willkommen und auf Wiedersehen. Schön dich hier zu sehen, was dich berührt, was du dir nimmst. Entscheide selbst, ob du uns willst, doch versuche zu verstehen, dass hier ist mehr als dein Leben. Zusammen vereint, dafür gekämpft, dafür gelebt, gelacht, geweint, auf dass sich unser Sturm erhebt. Durch alle Lärm, durch alle Straßen, vom Hülsenberg in dunkle Gassen, auf dass die Welt gerechter wird, die Wahrheit siegt und die Lüge stirbt.
Hey! Don't block us! Don't block us, German band! Do not block us!
Oh, that was really fun. That was fun. Oh, and yeah, I did. You saw him and his wife were featured right in front of the video almost the whole time.
That was him and his wife?
No, just kidding.
I was gonna say, how the hell did you?
You were gonna get super excited.
How did you leave out such a detail? The hell?
Okay, that was super fun, and again, made me really want to be at a concert.
Yeah, that was a really positive song lyrically.
Well, I wasn't watching the lyrics.
About togetherness and shizzle.
Together and united. Yeah, it gave you that vibe. Like, everybody was packed in really tight, and it was like tight and deep, and everybody looked.
The mics. Let's see here.
What do you mean you're worried about the mics?
Your mic was muted. And then it's my MacBook Pro microphone, so that's going to be echoey. I don't know how this is going to sound, to be honest with you, because it doesn't have microphone 2 on it. Hold on.
You know what we need to do?
I don't know what you mean by that.
The reason those settings get messed with is because you shoot videos by yourself. So then
okay, let's play.
Just edit all that out of there.
Why? What's there to edit?
What do you mean? It was all that mess.
It was like 45 seconds, but I guess now, I mean, go ahead.
My frustrated face.
You want to do more work? Go for it.
Well, there you see that, Tim. That's what it looks like when we get in a fight.
I don't even. What are you talking about? That was a fight?
Well, I was very annoyed with you for making this 1000th time mistake. All right, together and united. I did not choose my destiny alone, not chosen to the end. Much comes only with time. Like some friends, like some paths, and no question, I too have trembled and pleaded. Every judgment you have passed, I have survived. I know prejudice, and yes, I know the sheer fear inside of me. I pray to the good Lord, Believe what you will. Crucify me for all I care. The crooked blessings in this land has hurt me, has burned me. Our destiny, our way, for this we have lived.
Whoa.
What do you think's going on there?
Well, it looks like that looks to be an allusion to being a Christian. I pray to the good Lord, believe what you will, crucify me for all I care. That sounds like something a Christian would say. It seems like he's saying, well, I think the chorus pretty much takes care of it. Together united, fought for it, lived for it, laughed, cried, let our storm rise. Through all the noise, through all the streets, from the highest mountain into dark valleys, let's make the world a fairer place. Truth triumphs and the lie dies.
Whoa.
So it's about coming together to, to build a better, obviously more fair, equitable kind of society to live in, where in a society based on truth, which, a lot of people our age, there are a lot of things that get taken for granted, especially if you're a Christian, or any sort of theistic framework where we were raised with the understanding that there is such a thing as truth. Yeah. But there's a lot of people, as a matter of fact, I would say the majority report, most people in our generation they really believe that, it's that Star Wars thing where it says only a Sith speaks in absolutes.
Yeah.
So in that whole context, being an absolutist about things, it makes you a bad guy.
Yeah, okay.
And so when people say things like open-minded, they don't mean that you're willing to weigh certain things and come to a conclusion. Open-minded means that you don't have an understanding that something is definitively true and that it could always be compromised. So black is white, blue is yellow, etc., etc. Mm-hmm. And obviously, when you say things like only a Sith speaks in absolutes, it's a self-stultifying statement because that's an absolute statement.
Right, yeah.
And when people say there's no such thing as truth, that again is a self-stultifying statement because then you ask the question, is that a true or false statement? So our generation was taught this sort of postmodern, there's no such thing as truth, or we can never attain to the truth, or whatever. And the minute that you surrender the concept of truth and then the concept that human beings can apprehend the truth, shit gets extremely dangerous. Because then, I hate to say it, but I see it all the time in the abortion debate. Mm-hmm. The truth of the matter is that a fetus is a baby. That's just true. But I had a conversation with a guy yesterday. I said, what's the target of abortion? He said, a clump of cells. And then he said, conversation's over. Because I said, well, if I could show you definitively that we're not just aborting a clump of cells, would you? And he said, no. That was he. Oh. This is what happened. So it's like, I was talking to another person. It's like, well, just because you think that's a human doesn't mean you can impose that on somebody else. I'm like, that's how you get genocides.
Yeah.
We don't get to personally decide. Yeah. But again, if you were raised believing that there's no actual truth, then it becomes a free-for-all and it leads to horrible ramifications.
Yeah, but okay, so one thing about like bad ideas is they don't really work out in the regular world. Like when you try to apply them all over the place, they don't work. They're inconsistent. So how do you raise children if there are no absolutes? So if you believe something to be wrong, like maybe the kid throwing stuff or the kid slapping his brother or taking toys, are you going to say that that's wrong? Or are you going to say, oh, there's no absolutes and there's no truth that can be, you know what I mean? Like that doesn't work. How does that work when you raise children? Honestly.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, look, nobody, I don't care how postmodern you are. When it's payday, nobody has that philosophy. Right, so it's like, holy shit, you owe me $2,000 for my 2 weeks of work. And I go, to you that equals $2,000, but to me, $500 is equivalent to $2,000. Have a great day. That shit doesn't work in the real world.
That's what I'm saying.
So not being able to have a real concept of truth, and truth would be that which corresponds to reality. Not having the concept that the truth is fixed and that the truth is knowable creates a whole bunch of dangerous eventualities. And so I really like that, because honestly, we cannot unite as human beings unless we have truth. Because what is unity, especially from an ideological perspective? Unity means that we're all going the same direction. We all have the same goal, etc., etc., etc. Well, if there's no concept of truth, then there's nothing for us to be unified under. Communities and cities and nations and the world has to be unified under something. But if you got one group are saying, well, I think that Jewish people aren't fully human. You got another group of people saying, well, I think these people aren't fully human. Then you're never going to be able to have any sort of unity. But I think the next generation, and now we're dealing with the fallout. Our generation and our kids are dealing with the fallout of 20 to 30 years of this nonsense.
I think, I'm not sure. So, okay, yeah, he actually gave a little bit more information here. He said, I want to address a couple things with the lyrics, which, as someone who does not speak German, found the translation to be a little confusing. I asked a German friend of mine for some clarification. The first part concerned the lines, the crooked blessings in this country has hurt me and burned me. Many inhabitants of South Tyrol would like to see a free what did you say, Tyrol?
Yeah, Tyrol. Tyrol.
They do not want South Tyrol to be part of Italy. The blessing of being part of Italy to Philip is not much of a blessing. He sees himself as South Tyrolean, not Italian.
Keep going.
And then the second part concerned the lines, do you see our open hand? If you want it, you get it. If you don't, you already have it. Do you see our open hand means, come on, I'll help you. We can do it together. Come into our mindset. Our midst, I mean. If you want our friendship, you have it. Even if you don't, our hand of friendship is extended anyway.
Yeah, right. And
they're in Bucharest.
You have to have some sort of semblance of commonality somewhere.
Yeah.
Where there's a universally agreed upon understanding. And, I guess there's some issue between Italy and South Tyrol or whatever. But it seems to be like it's about reconciliation. Like, we don't necessarily have to be sucked into your giant collective to be friends.
Yeah.
Let us be who we are here. You be who you are, and we'll be friends. But again, that assumes the concept of human dignity and self-will.
Yep.
Well, we have to deal with this. Where do we get the idea that, the South Tyroleans have the right to exist and be respected with dignity, and he's saying, I'm extending my hand. But if the person he's extending his hand to says, yeah, man, but you're not as valuable as me, or your place is beneath whatever, then you can't.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not one of those things where it's like, okay, well, you have an opinion, I have an opinion, so let's not impose our opinions on each other. Like, our generation has to contend with the fact that there are many concepts that there are no gray areas about. That's one of the things that's really fascinating to me about our current generation, is that they'll call you an extremist if you don't have gray areas, but then they'll be absolute about the idea that everything is a gray area, which is another form of absolutism.
It is, yeah.
But so what I'm saying is, like, you can't have unity without truth. I think truth is the ultimate value.
Absolutely.
And then from that, everything else flows. And if you get that reversed, people die in bunches. Revolutions happen. I mean, it's what's happening right now. Like, I'm not even talking about, the current situation with, the Supreme Court. It's just been the story of this country and the story of a lot of countries. And like humanity, we continue to cycle these things. And then you get people like this that have a positive message. Like, we can be united. We cried for it. We laughed for it. Yada, yada, yada. Separated from the light, united in the storm, sometimes under rust and sometimes in shine. Not quite in vogue, but with backbone and with healthy arrogance. We stayed on that path, full speed ahead, even at still speed. The fire lights our way. That's what we live for. Do you see the middle finger? Do you see the open hand? So that's the other side of it is that you can either see this as a middle finger or you can see it as an open hand.
Yeah.
But when you have oppressive people, they take any sort of like, hey, I just want to be independent. They take that as a middle finger. When in reality, he might just be saying, no, it's not a middle finger. I'm just not going to let you dehumanize me. So let's take an open hand and we can work together. Like that's the idea. That's what we should be doing is working together with each other. But why can't we work together? Because we all don't have a universal understanding of what's true.
I think you're right. I think that's why the definition of truth being that which corresponds with reality is so important, because we've been wrong scientifically before, and those mistakes have been grave for whole swaths of people.
Yeah.
And so when, now, obviously the abortion topic is the hot topic right now. Like when you're talking about it and you're having the conversation with people, like it gets so mucky because everybody wants to bring in all kinds of added details that are not part of the discussion, because they're all of a sudden people become masked. Like they never, you see them make their posts all the time. They never talk about stats or any of that stuff. All of a sudden they start getting into stats when they want something to be, they want to excuse a certain thing, and they'll bring you down to the smallest detail, and they want to focus on that small detail instead of the overarching issue that's taking place. And then, like I said to you today, all of a sudden people start speaking in foreign languages. All of a sudden people start speaking Latin when we're talking about it. Wait, you do that in regular life or just when you're talking about that topic? That's just another way of getting away from the truth of the issue. If you have no problem with the issue, why not speak your native tongue?
Yeah. I just really enjoyed the song because
so good.
People talk about like the culture wars and things like that. So and so is a culture warrior. I just find myself like exhausted with the entire thing, and like
we've been at it for a long time.
We as a country, I mean, we really felt it in the Trump administration, but it was happening before. But there's just so much division and so much anger, and people are we're just in a really strained time, and obviously social media does not help, but it's kind of like everybody that I know is dealing with this like psychological contagion that's happening, where there's all the tribalism and the hate, and the people are hating each other, like watching, like, this is like out of left field, but watching TYT, I was watching an old video of TYT, and Jimmy and Jenk were laughing and like falling on each other, and like now they're at each other's throats. It's just like over and over and over again, like we're all, and obviously as a Christian, like, you'd imagine if there was a God and he's looking down at America, and human beings have so much potential to do something really incredible. And we're wasting it on resources and racism, and like it's he talked about it, like, I've experienced prejudice, yada yada yada. Like I really really like the message, and I think we are so acclimated to all this division and anger at each other that like this shit is not normal. Like what's happening right now is not normal. People at each other's throats every 2 seconds is not normal. People saying crazy shit to other people on social media, like, it's not healthy.
No, it's not. People say things they wouldn't say to somebody's face.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and it's like one of those things where it's like, are we mature enough to handle this technology? And it's kind of a moot question at this point, because we're already there. So it is what it is. But ultimately, I believe we're going to figure it out. It's just we're going to have a bunch of cycles before we all figure out maybe the whole love your neighbor thing is
Some utility to
maybe
it.
there's some utility to it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I really, really enjoyed the song. It was very, very
I'll
hopeful.
tell you what, it made me want to be at a show.
100%.
And I've actually never been to a show like this.
What do you mean?
The energy that was at this show, I've never seen that.
Well, I mean, it was a video, and they knew they were in a video. You know what I'm saying? So people, when they know that they're going to be in a video, they generally, the stage kind of jumps
it
up
just
and all
felt
that
like it was
jazz.
very, like, together. I've seen a couple different videos where it felt like the crowd was very much like that level of togetherness. But
What'd you give the
anyway,
song?
definitely one that I turned that up.
9.5 for me.
9.8 for me. I really liked it.
Would you give it 9.8?
9.8. Yep.
Shout out to Tim from San Diego. Where you at?
Yeah,
He's
you
in
guys,
Bucharest?
they're having. I think that they're going to this band's show.
Oh, wow. This is a band I would like to see
Yeah, and
live.
he's hoping to meet the singer.
Hey, if you meet him, tell him I said what's up. Gang, gang, gang. Okay. I really like this song.
Wait, they came out in 2000. Oh, this.
Are we going to release it immediately?
Yeah, I'm gonna send it right over to you.
There you are. Dear listener, Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.